The meticulous maintenance of pedigree records is one of the hallmarks of a dedicated and successful pigeon fancier. Tracing the ancestry of one's birds back generations provides invaluable insight into heredity, revealing patterns of strengths and weaknesses that can be leveraged to promote quality and performance. For enthusiasts pursuing excellence, pedigree records are an indispensable resource. They facilitate planned breeding, performance evaluation, and the preservation of history. This comprehensive lineage information enables breeders to make judicious selections when pairing birds, working toward their vision of the ideal specimen. In this article, we will explore the multifaceted benefits of pedigree record keeping for pigeon aficionados. From practical advantages to personal fulfillment, there are many reasons this traditional practice remains a vital cornerstone of successful pigeon breeding. The value of ancestry knowledge. At its core, a pedigree outlines the family tree stretching back through a pigeon's forebears. Each bird has 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, and so on. A pedigree record documents this genetic lineage, providing crucial insights into heredity. Knowing a bird's ancestry facilitates an understanding of where certain desirable qualities originated. Recognizing which ancestors have consistently conferred valued traits helps breeders identify the most promising bloodlines. Once superior lines are determined, pairing decisions can be made to capitalize on the genetics of a particular bird. If a breeder understands that speed and homing ability consistently appear in offspring of a certain cock paired to hens from a different esteemed bloodline, efforts can be made to replicate this successful combination. The ancestry knowledge gleaned from pedigree records enables the strategic breeding decisions that lead to improvement generation after generation. Conversely, pedigree analysis may reveal that certain pairings tend to result in inferior progeny. These records allow breeders to learn from the past and avoid less than ideal matches in the future. They provide the insight needed to breed away from negative traits and promote desirable qualities in one's bloodstock. In addition to physical and performance attributes, pedigree analysis can provide useful health insights. If certain issues or deficits tend to arise in particular family lines, preventative steps can be taken. Birds expressing certain concerning genetic conditions can be retired from the breeding program. With comprehensive pedigree knowledge, progressively healthier and hardier family lines can be cultivated. Performance evaluation and planning. In addition to physical traits, a bird's racing performance and ability should factor prominently in breeding decisions. Sprint times, race distances, homing ability, and similar competitive attributes offer key insights into a pigeon's prowess and potential. By tracking performance metrics across generations and family lines, patterns emerge that can guide breeding plans. Pairing a champion long-distance hen with a top sprinter cock may produce progeny with an ideal blend of speed and endurance. Understanding which lines produce the most talented racers allows fanciers to make calculated breeding decisions. Performance record keeping within pedigree documentation provides an objective measure of key competitive traits. No matter how beautiful or finely built a pigeon may be, racing prowess indicates far more about underlying genetic potential. Consistently tracking and comparing metrics provides crucial data. Not only do performance records enhance breeding decisions, they also facilitate valuable comparisons across the wider pigeon racing community. Fanciers can evaluate how their birds' metrics stack up against competitors' flocks, identifying areas needing improvement. Performance benchmarks help breeders set goals. Technology has opened up exciting new possibilities for performance documentation. GPS logging and similar innovations allow extremely precise race data far beyond manually recorded times. This expanded competitive insight further elevates pedigree records as a planning resource. Ongoing performance evaluation and planning is instrumental for breeding excellence. By consulting past metrics within pedigree records, breeders can determine optimal pairings and cull less competitive lines. This refinement across generations is integral for cultivating elite racing pigeons. Selection and breeding focus. With the lineage knowledge and performance insights pedigree records provide, pigeon breeders gain a tremendous advantage when making pairing selections. No longer reliant on intuition or an inexperienced eye, breeders can instead base decisions on generations of objective information. The most successful fanciers are disciplined in only breeding from proven, outstanding birds. Rather than diluting bloodlines out of impatience or haste, they are willing to hold birds back until ideal matches emerge. This requires sometimes waiting multiple seasons to achieve precisely the pairing envisioned. With thousands of options to choose from, having clear criteria is the only way to maintain focus. The ancestry and performance data contained in pedigrees provides this blueprint for decision making. Records equip breeders to act with intention rather than react in the moment. Pedigree tracking makes it exponentially easier to identify areas where a given bird or line may be lacking. Once weak points are determined, the breeder can make selections to complement this and correct shortcomings. For example, pairing a known swift bird with middling endurance to a race winner known for its stamina can help balance out the progeny. Meticulous selection empowered by pedigree knowledge ensures breeders work toward an ideal. With each mating, the next generation gains improvements in targeted areas while maintaining existing strengths. This gradual refinement is made possible by pedigree records which connect the dots across generations. Preserving history and tradition. For seasoned fanciers, pedigrees impart more than just breeding guidance. They contain the history of the breeder's triumphs, setbacks, and learnings over a lifetime in pigeons. The records chronicle the evolution of their family lines and operation, capturing pigeon keeping heritage unlike any other resource can. Enthusiasts often feel a sense of legacy in their best birds, and the story of how these specimens came to be is intricately documented in pedigree records. The knowledge contained connects breeders to past mentors and memorable birds from their early days in the hobby. A pedigree is a roadmap of these formative experiences. Beyond individual breeders, pedigree documentation helps preserve pigeon breeding traditions more broadly. Different lines are often associated with certain regions, clubs, or competitions. The continuation of these distinguished bloodlines depends upon dedicated fanciers maintaining thorough records over generations. Breeding pigeons is an endeavor where progress spans decades, not individual seasons. Pedigree keeping breeds a respect for this long view, sustaining family lines and approaching one's role as but one chapter in an enduring lineage. Birds carrying the DNA of champions from yesterday hold potential for new glory when thoughtfully bred. Whether a breeder's primary goal is preserving heritage, pursuing excellence, or a mix of both, comprehensive pedigree records are invaluable. They satisfy sentimental motivations and competitive motivations alike. For both historic and current context, these records are a vital reference. Recognizing quality birds. A pigeon cock's value rests largely in what it produces rather than in its individual racing performances. Of course, racing records matter, but a bird is made legendary through what it sires. Even an average racer carrying the genes of champions can prove extremely valuable in breeding. Herein lies the importance of pedigree in appraising a bird's quality. A pigeon appearing unremarkable on the surface could contain extraordinary potential passed down from esteemed forebears. Deep ancestry knowledge is required to recognize diamonds in the rough. For buyers evaluating birds, pedigrees are an essential reference. Performance statistics for the bird itself provide helpful but minimal context. It is the bird's lineage that offers the best indication of its capability to reproduce the qualities a breeder seeks. Sellers must maintain detailed records not only for their own benefit, but to receive fair value for birds they choose to offer. Documented pedigree information instantly cues knowledgeable buyers into a bird's significance. Otherwise, unassuming pigeons can command premium prices when their ancestry proves exceptional. Whether acquiring stock internally or purchasing from other lofts, pedigrees enable recognition of prominent bloodlines. Breeders can more easily prioritize birds possessing distinguished heritage and therefore greater potential. Maintaining one's own thorough records creates this breeding advantage when acquiring new stock. For buyers and sellers alike, pedigree records establish clarity around a bird's objective quality. This prevents valuable specimens from being overlooked and provides critical context for determining fair value. Keeping and consulting precise records is key to transactions where outstanding birds change hands. Achievement recognition. Given their intricacy and depth, thorough pedigree records represent a significant accomplishment in their own right. The tedious effort and meticulous attention to detail required earns respect within the pigeon fancy. These documents become a badge of honor. Breeders producing generation after generation of flawless records demonstrate a mastery of the craft. Their lofts become trusted resources referenced by others for bloodline information and documentation standards. Prominent pedigree keepers gain admiration. Because proper record keeping requires great discipline over years, achievements in this area provide meaningful recognition. Awards like Best Loft Records validate this often underappreciated excellence apart from racing results. This provides rightful esteem for breeders upholding lofty documentation standards. Such recognition incentivizes and propagates sound record-keeping habits. Fanciers are motivated to develop their own impeccable pedigree documentation worthy of community acknowledgement. Obtaining this respected stature becomes a compelling goal in itself. For some breeders, pursuing record-keeping distinction proves just as satisfying as competing for racing laurels. Their fastidious notes become a creative work charting their pigeon breeding story. Rich pedigrees capture a loft's uniqueness and legacy. Satisfaction in the details. Beyond practical applications and public acclaim, pedigree creation provides inherent enjoyment for detail-oriented fanciers. The task satisfies a collector's passion and gives great personal meaning. Maintaining these records can become a hobby within the hobby. Meticulous record keeping appeals to those who find joy in thoroughness and intellectual order. Each generation's documentation adds a new volume to an ever-expanding anthology. Such comprehensive annals provide a special pride. The ability to trace a beloved bird's ancestry back generations establishes an intimate connection. Looking into a pigeon's eyes knowing its full story and potential is profoundly gratifying. Keeping these traditions alive through pedigree brings purpose. For owners, a deep sense of stewardship accompanies pedigree record keeping. Preserving information about lines passing through their coop makes every mating feel more meaningful. Each new hatchling arrives as the next chapter in a distinguished chronicle. A pedigree's expanding branches and intersecting stories reveal new insights during each revisiting. Poring over records repeatedly unearths previously unnoticed patterns, trends, and connections. Pedigree keeping never loses relevance. For the passionate, creating a legacy through documented pigeon breeding adventures becomes highly rewarding. Pursuing excellence through precision records integrates seamlessly with the enjoyment of raising birds. Keeping pedigrees feels less like work and more like preserving history. Key takeaways. For pigeon fanciers pursuing success and satisfaction in the hobby, maintaining detailed pedigree records is a non-negotiable practice. These carefully documented bloodline annals offer benefits spanning practical and personal realms. Pedigree records impart crucial ancestral knowledge that enables strategic breeding decisions when selecting pairing combinations. They provide key insights into heredity. Tracking performance metrics through generations within pedigrees aids planning. Comparing competitive attributes reveals optimal pairings. Detailed records allow breeders to maintain focus and identify ideal mating options. They prevent reactive choices and enable progress toward bloodstock goals. As chronicles of achievements and setbacks, pedigrees preserve breeding history and tradition. They represent the evolution of family lines and loft legacies. Pedigrees enable recognition of outstanding birds whose potential exceeds external traits. Ancestry denotes quality more than individual performance. Mandatory record keeping for organizations elevates breeding standards universally. Even casual hobbyists adopt meticulous habits thanks to requirements. For buyers and sellers alike, pedigree documentation establishes a bird's objective value. Records unlock substantial asset worth. Honors recognizing pedigree keeping excellence validate this underappreciated skill. Awards elevate those maintaining meticulous records. Beyond practical purposes, creating pedigrees provides inherent satisfaction. Record keeping taps into intellectual passions and harnessing purpose. For the pigeon fancier pursuing excellence, pedigree records provide invaluable guidance. But more than that, these living documents impart meaning and tradition. Though demanding in rigor, pedigree keeping remains one of the most rewarding aspects of the hobby. The birds come alive on the page.